my main job is really being a resident's best friend when they move in. I know, me too. They come in and a lot of residents feel kind of isolated when they first arrive. So I think my biggest part is getting them acclimated, making sure they're comfortable. And that involves a lot of steps along the way.
The other thing is probably helping them to meet people that they may have things in common with.
Absolutely.
How does that work?
Oh, I love coupling people up with best friends. So I always have somebody in mind when I do that discovery. I learn from marketing what they're looking for. And I'm like, oh, I have just the person for them. A good example is Boeing engineers. We just have so many of them in the area.
Yeah.
And so we have so many here that it can help pair up with each other, and lots of teachers, and based off of interests too. So learning what they like to do. So if you want to play bridge, oh boy, do I have a group for you? Or do you like art? Perfect. You name it. You know, there's somebody for everybody.
Absolutely.
And I truly believe that.
Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And we are here back at Chateau Retirement talking about community, talking about how people find Chateau Retirement, they get to know the staff. And then obviously once people start to move in, now the community relations team handshakes with the operations team. And we are here with Ollie Minogue, which I love your name, by the way.
Thank you
Ollie,
so much.
welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Ollie, I am very interested. You have a very unique position. I know you're the resident liaison. I want to make sure what that does. Tell me about your role and what you do.
Well, you are correct. I definitely bridge the gap between kind of marketing and operations. I work hand in hand with them. I do things like tours and bring people in, but my main job is really being a resident's best friend when they move in. I know, me too. They come in and a lot of residents feel kind of isolated when they first arrive. So I think my biggest part is getting them acclimated, making sure they're comfortable. And that involves a lot of steps along the way, and making sure we touch on them pretty much every day when they first arrive.
You know, you really hit the nail on the head. I think one of the things that happens because they've left maybe a home of 50 years they've lived in, and something happens sometimes where they're forced to be in a more of a care centered environment. There's a lot of grieving goes on. You know, where's my home? My neighborhood is not there. Everything's new. I'm seeing new people every day. You know, to have somebody like you to help them even find their way to the dining room, little things like that. How do you integrate, work with the residents when they first move in?
Well, like I said, when they first come in, my big thing is, of course, it's move-in day. I'm greeting you, making sure you're comfortable, making sure we've got everything squared away. But for the first 2 weeks of them being here, I'm checking in every single day with them. Perfect. So whether that's just, hey, how are you doing? Do you want to walk to happy hours? Or do you want to come down to dinner? And really make sure that they know that they have somebody to reach out to and to talk to.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's important too. Like, for example, if people need pictures hung on the wall or anything like that, you can, I'm sure coordinate with the maintenance staff and different things like that. So you just kind of become their own project manager in a way.
Yeah, truly making sure that they're really set up for success, whether that, the pictures on the wall, their TV being, set up for them. TV is a big thing. They want to be able to watch, so making sure that's squared away. Anything and everything. I really
getting on the internet.
Getting on the internet, point of contact for everything, helping them, even when it comes to like our resident portal and things like that. I've been helping them kind of along that way because it is a little tricky sometimes.
Well, and the other thing is you can be an amazing resource to the family, I'm sure. How do you interact with the family?
Families is such a huge part of our community as well. When we gain a resident, we really gain the rest of them too. And I can't tell you how many wonderful families really come into our communities. And I think just also on that coordination piece of really answering all of their questions and concerns, that gives them peace of mind with the process, knowing that their loved ones are taken care of.
Yeah. And that's the comfort level. And I think there's one of the things that I always say, remember, it's always easier in many ways to hang on to something that doesn't serve you, but you know it, rather than stepping into the unknown. And that's kind of that fear factor, especially for a resident that feels vulnerable as they are. Obviously, having you as a best friend is a huge value. Share with me a little bit about, how that works and what does that mean to a resident?
It really means getting comfortable, I guess. And so when you leave your community of 40 years and you have, very little friends that you might know coming in, having someone you can count on, who's going to be there through thick and thin, whether you like it or not, kind of, I'm going to check in with you. It means that consistency. You already have that stable ground to jump to instead of, that fear of being alone. So you don't have to be alone here.
Yeah. And the other thing is probably helping them to meet people that they may have things in common with.
Absolutely.
How does that work?
Oh, I love coupling people up with best friends. So I always have somebody in mind when I do that discovery. I learn from marketing what they're looking for. And I'm like, oh, I have just the person for them. A good example is Boeing engineers. We just have so many of them in the area.
Yeah.
And so we have so many here that it can help pair up with each other, and lots of teachers, and based off of interests too. So learning what they like to do. So if you want to play bridge, oh boy, do I have a group for you? Or do you like art? Perfect. You name it. There's somebody for everybody.
Absolutely.
And I truly believe that.
Absolutely. And, that's the part, is finding that community, not only, as a whole, but internally, having a community that you can connect with, that you have something in common with. And that's really, so you're working a lot with sales and marketing. So now we're going to switch to operations. Somebody moves into an apartment. Obviously, how do you work with operations?
So big part of operations is going to be paperworky things. So I do, as soon as we get deposits and things, I get to take it from there. So I'm calling them, getting assessments set up, getting everything scheduled, booked, squared away. And it really does help me in my process of learning what they need, who they are, and then once we actually get to move in. So a lot of it is that paperwork aspect, making sure everything's good as golden, and also helping with, them being comfortable and staying.
Yeah. Well, and it's once they pick out their apartment, it's like, how do I turn on the stove? This is new. What should I set the temperature at with the refrigerator? Every single thing in their apartment is new. I'm sure you're involved in all of that.
Truly. Yeah. I mean, from day one, they always have questions about how things work, and whether it's me helping them or me calling maintenance to help them. It definitely is a process that we have to kind of walk through together and just go over everything, every nook and cranny of their mind, and make sure that they're all comfortable and confident that they know what they're,
What a great job you have.
Thank you.
Are you involved later on as they're living here?
Yes, absolutely. So our residents everybody has different paces for when they need things. So even if they've been here a month or a year, I'm always checking in with them, especially if they happen to leave our community for any reason. So if they're happen to have something happen, and go over to the hospital, I'm calling to check in on them constantly. When they go to rehab, I'm like, how are you doing? Talking to the family, talking to them. And really, we actually go out and see them too, and make sure that they're doing okay, bring gifts, things like that, to make sure that they're happy. And that when they're ready to come home, we got that squared away for them.
Right. And they know that their place is being well taken care of. If they're not in their apartment, they're secure. Everything is in a secure environment and things like that. The fact that you reach out, it's that feeling of you still belong here. You still have a place, which is so important. It's that feeling that you're an integral part of a community. You're that gentle reminder every day that you're always there for somebody to talk to, which is important.
And we're excited for you to come home.
Yes,
this is your home.
Yeah. So you have an amazing job.
I really love it. I truly do.
I can imagine. Ollie, thank you so much for sharing, and thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much.
Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.